Welcome to Meet the Hawkeye. I'm your host, AJ Reisetter, and on this show, I sit down with some of the greatest student athletes on campus. These athletes are great on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. On Meet the Hawkeye, we highlight it all to give you an exclusive look at what it's like being a student athlete at the University of Iowa. Buckle up for tons of laughs and untold stories of your favorite Hawkeyes. It's Meet the Hawkeye with AJ Reisetter on DITV. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Hawkeye. I'm AJ Reisetter, and today we're joined by not one, but two very special guests. We have Patrick McCaffery and Payton Sandfort in the house today talking some men's basketball. Guys, you guys have been on an absolute tear over the last month and a half. What, if anything, has changed? What's led to this incredible run of wins? And now you guys are back in the conversation and getting in that bubble for the NCAA tournament. Yeah,
I would say probably first and foremost is just you gotta, like, we had a really new team, right? We had a lot of new players, a lot of different guys from the year prior. So I think, just took us a little bit to kind of gel and figure out, what it takes to win at this level. And you have to go through the tough times in order to really appreciate and understand, what the good times are, and you learn from those mistakes and those experiences, and you grow. And that's what we were fortunately able to do, and hopefully we keep on rolling.
Keep on rolling, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, I would say, like similar to that, we were struggling, but everyone was kind of new, and you had to kind of gel together. And I think the thing that can kind of make losing kind of take over and spiral is when teams aren't together. Mm-hmm. But I would say, that was never the case for us. Everybody loves each other. There's not a single guy on the team that I look at like, man, I don't like you. Like, I really enjoy being around every single guy. And I think that's important, and I think the more we came together, we started to get 1-1, 1-2, and then you get some confidence, and now you're feeling good, and everybody's playing well. We're getting contributions from all over the team, and I think it's a big part of it.
I was gonna say the big storyline has been how important this freshman class has been. You guys were such a tight-knit group over the last couple of years, and then you slowly start losing guys to the draft, to graduation, and things like that. But you have this big freshman class come in. Payton, your brother, is one of them. How important has this class been to you guys, and how's it been gelling with this new class?
It's just different because I'm 23 years old, about to be 24, and they're 18.
It's like teenagers.
Exactly, they're 18, 19, so it's just like a different generation type of thing almost. I feel like the old get off my lawn type of guy, but no, they bring a lot of youthful energy into the place, and they're all so talented. Each and every one of them are so talented. And I'm really excited for all of their futures. Obviously, Owen probably being the one that's contributed the most this year, but they're all going to get their turn, and they're all going to, be able to shine here. They're all really good players, and I'm so excited for all of their futures.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I first got here, it was like me and Patrick were the young guys, but we were 19, 20, and 21, and now we're the old guys. So it was, it was a little bit of a transition, having to become, the vocal leaders and the emotional leaders of this team. But it's been really fun to watch them progress throughout the season. We're starting to get contributions from all of them, and they just keep improving. And it's been really fun, and it's a really special class for sure.
Has there been a moment this year where you kind of had to use that older mentality, and was there like a welcome to the Big Ten, welcome to Iowa moment for each of those freshmen with you guys, or has it been pretty seamless for them?
Yeah, no, I think there's always going to be a moment like that for anybody. Sometimes Owen, you got to kind of kick him a little bit. Mm-hmm. Hey, come on, dude, but it's just different because he's a freshman, he's young, they're trying to figure everything out. It's a lot. It's a huge transition.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot going on, and so it's hard to figure out. So us both having been there know and understand that. Mm-hmm. And so, and are very cognizant of that when we speak to them and with how we talk to them. But yeah, no, we all still, I'm in my 5th year, Payton's in his 3rd year, both have played extensive minutes. We all still make a ton of mistakes. Every game we're going to make 8 or 9 mistakes that are on the film that we all see. So it's not like we're immune to that just because we've been here longer. We all make mistakes, and we all are appreciative and understand that nothing is perfect. It's never perfect. So just try to be there for them and try to help as much as we can.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing they've had to learn is, that not everything's going to come easy. I think they all came in and were really dominant in high school and didn't lose very much. So, I think that was the biggest thing I had to learn, and it's definitely the biggest thing they've had to learn is, you're going to lose some games, you're going to go through some tough times, but it's how you respond. And obviously, they've learned that. They're playing well now, and we're on a big winning streak. But there was days we were losing, when practices weren't going as well for them, and they just had to learn, you know, to persevere. And I think that's maybe one of the biggest things you have to learn at this level is, you know, sometimes you're just going to get outplayed. These teams are really good too, and all these guys are getting scholarships, getting paid now. So, you know, you got to be able to handle that, and the teams that handle that the best are the ones that are successful at this time of the year.
What was each of your guys' welcome to the Big Ten moment when you were freshmen, when you were 18, 19 years old, and you came to Iowa, got on the court for the first time, and were like, holy cow, welcome to the Big Ten, guys?
Mine was in a practice. We were running this set where there's two screeners on the baseline, and it's like a baseline runner who just kind of like curls around and, you know, goes to the corner. And so Ryan Kriener and Luka Garza were the two screeners, two pretty big guys.
Yeah.
And so Ryan like clipped me on one, like because I was chasing Joe Wieskamp around, and Ryan clipped me, so I fell a little bit behind, and I just hear Ryan behind me just go, "Clean him up, Luka." And Luka just wiped me out.
Holy cow. That's not a guy you want to get wiped out by either.
Just destroyed me. And I just like laid down there for, we usually made a wide open three. I just laid down for about 5 to 8 seconds and just was like contemplating everything. And I was just like, you know, but that was definitely mine.
Wow. That's a heck of a welcome to the Big Ten moment, especially in practice.
Yeah, it was in practice. It wasn't even in the game.
Did your dad give you some crap about it?
No, we got to keep going. I got to get back on.
Now
we got to go on offense. And I got to try to score.
Oh my goodness. What was yours, Payton?
I would say, you know, going to Mackey Arena is pretty frightful thing when, you know, you've been playing in empty high school gyms with COVID, and you come back and, you know, your first Big Ten road game is
you forgot your bag
on the road at Purdue. Yeah, I left my bag in the parking lot, and all the students were already out there, so I was scared to death. And then I get in the game, and it's so loud in there, like the roof is metal and everything echoes, and it's full every game. So I throw up like just a simple chest pass, and Jaden Ivey just takes it and just hammers it on the other end, and the whole place is going nuts.
Throw the chest pass to me.
I was like, I was like, you know, I guess this is it. So I kind of just.
This is what you got to get used to now.
Let me go sit down.
So I think I got pulled, and I was pretty rattled. But things are different now.
Yeah, I was going to say, things have definitely been different now. First player ever in men's basketball history to hit a triple-double. I mean, when we all heard that, I was at that game, and that news started getting thrown around. We're just like, one, how has that never happened? And two, it's pretty awesome that we're all here getting to see it, and it's Payton doing it. I mean, what was that like when you heard that first one ever to hit a triple-double in Iowa men's basketball history?
Yeah, I couldn't believe there's been so many good players that I've played with, and then through all the years, like, that was a pretty special thing. And I thought the coolest thing was, you know, I probably threw like 10 good passes. It just was every shot went in, and the last part, you know, there's like 30 seconds, and Pat knew he was at 998 points. So I'm like, I'm gonna get the rebound. I'm gonna throw it to him. So we got like the 2-for-1.
Heck yeah!
We got the 1,000-point and the triple-double, and it was perfect. So it was a pretty special thing.
I was gonna say, all those milestones getting hit, the records being broken all in that same day. I mean, it was like headline after headline after headline in that one game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. Plus the big win at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
At the end of the day, that's what it was. So, what was your reaction when you got your 1,000th point and then also helped him get his triple-double?
Yeah, so I didn't know that he was like really close. Like, I didn't know that he only needed one rebound. I was like, but so then like he was like let me get this if he misses, and I'm like, okay, like,
whatever you say, man.
I average 3 rebounds a game. Like, I don't. I'm not taking rebounds. Okay. I was like, go ahead, dude. Like, I'm not stopping you. Like,
getting all the rebounds all game anyway.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, dude. Like, so he goes and grabs it, and then everybody goes like, yeah, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then he threw it to me. And so I knew I was at 998. I just needed 2 more, so I just wanted to shoot the free throws. But I didn't know. And then everybody freaked out, and I was like, did he just get a triple-double? Because I had heard rumblings about it at halftime. But, yeah, so it was crazy. It just Owen broke the blocks record. Cricky got 2,000. I got 1,000. Payton got a triple-double. It was just a crazy night.
Yeah, I mean, headline after headline after headline, record after record. I mean, it was a pretty crazy day. And wasn't the opposing coach the one that told you that you had one more rebound, or what was the story behind that?
No, it was like our managers and stuff. It was like halftime, and we're up, I don't know, we were up 4 maybe at half or 6, and I was kind of upset because, like, you know, we weren't playing well. They just went on a big run. So I'm going to the bathroom, and the manager's standing next to me. He's like, I'm not going to say anything, but just know something's going on. I'm
Well,
like,
that could be
well,
taken
yeah,
like
we're
four
playing
different ways.
like crap. Maybe that's it. But then I think I had the points and assists, and I needed like 2 more rebounds with 50 seconds, and like some of the walk-ons and managers were tapping me like, "Yo, go get some rebounds."
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll get a double-double, and I didn't know I had the assists. Like, I actually had no idea I was even close. So then I was trying to hunt the rebounds a little bit.
There you go. That you had it in the back of your mind. The managers told you.
Yeah, only with like 50 seconds, so the game was pretty much in hand. But
Yeah, but you knew a couple more rebounds.
Yeah.
Something was going to get.
I definitely knew on the last one. I knew that one.
you knew triple-double watch was on your back.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was awesome. I think I was on the call for that game for student radio, and you had so many assists to Josh Dix in that first half.
Yeah.
And you actually had a lot of rebounds in that first half, too. It was like, is he going to get an assist, rebound, double-double before he even hits double-digit points? Because you're going to the free throw line more than you're shooting the ball, it felt like.
I didn't make a field goal until there was like 8 minutes left. It was all free throws. That was
nuts.
insane.
Have you ever seen a stat line like that?
18 of 19. You had 26 and you were like 3 of 11.
Yeah.
I was like, what
The most free throws I'd ever shot before that was 7.
That's insane.
There was like technicals and
Yeah.
a bunch of 1-and-1s.
You got technicals and then you got fouled on a 3.
Yeah.
There was 2 technicals, you got fouled on a 3, so that's 7 of them right
And
there.
then I got fouled on like the first play of the game, and then
Yeah.
I had 5 1-and-1s.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
It's just,
it's easy. That was like free points. I didn't deserve the points.
well, they got teed up a couple times, too, and you got to go to the line
Yeah.
for those,
That was
too.
helpful.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely helps when the other team's gifting you those.
Exactly.
Well, that wasn't the only crazy game you guys have had this season. You've had a lot of crazy games, but the 2 that really stick out, I think, a lot of people's minds, the Minnesota game, the big comeback.
Oh, that was nuts.
And then the Wisconsin overtime game as well, a ranked win when they came into Carver. Let's start with the Minnesota win. Huge comeback late in the game. What was going through your guys' heads? What was Fran talking about in the huddle and things like that? What was going on?
We played pretty bad for the first 28 minutes or so of that game. We were pretty horrific.
Wasn't good.
No, like it was really bad. So then it kind of went further. Like we were just like, okay, like just keep plugging away. And the game's 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Like, so, let's just keep plugging away. Keep battling, keep trying to string some stops together, get some scores, and we'll see what happens. And that's kind of what we did. We've had crazy comebacks throughout our careers here. Like we've had some pretty insane comebacks, games that we had no business winning, or even times where we came back and had lost, but like games we had no business being in, just in terms of situational stuff. So we're never like, when there's enough time on the clock, you always know you have a chance. So that was just a crazy game, and we made some shots, and we got a bunch of stops in a row, and they missed some free throws, had some turnovers that led to it was awesome.
And what was your viewpoint,
Yeah,
Payton?
that game came at a crucial time because I think we were 5-7 in the league. It's kind of a game you lose.
If we lose, we're dead.
Yeah, you're in big trouble, and I was terrible the first 28 minutes, so they pulled me out, and I'm sitting there on the bench, and the bench came in with a spark, Patrick, and I think Brock played well that game, and they come in, they make some big plays, and then the crowd gets back into it, and then I went back in, and by that time the crowd was into it, so it's a lot easier to play well, and then I think we were able to just settle in. We got a bunch of stuff in transition, got a bunch of stops, and when a team's coming back on you, it's pretty easy to get tight and nervous, and that's exactly what happened to them. So then we were just able to, we playing free in that comeback. I think we were able to hit a bunch of shots and just kill them with our speed, and I think and once we got the lead, it was over with how loud it was in there and all the momentum we had.
When it gets loud in Carver, it's like you guys are untouchable.
Exactly.
I mean, it's incredible. And it really felt like in that Minnesota game, at least from an outside perspective, it looked like something flipped in that game, something switched in that game. Then your next home game was against Wisconsin. Pretty sure it was a sold-out crowd, if I remember correctly. At least it looked like it from a fan's perspective. Got tight late, tied it. Wisconsin tied it, forced OT. What was that game like? Down the wire in regulation, and then Perkins hitting that game-winning field goal at the end of the game in overtime.
Yeah, I think a huge part of kind of what we always talk about is that you got to execute late game, offensively and defensively. You have to be able to lock in when it's loud. People are screaming and yelling. You have to be able to lock in and run what we're supposed to run, make shots, make your free throws, and key in on defense and get stops. And we had lost several close games up to that point. So we knew, okay, let's buckle down, let's get one.
Yeah.
And we did, and it was awesome.
That place was rocking too.
It was.
That place was rocking.
Yeah, we made a bunch of big plays down the stretch, on both ends, and we got behind in overtime, but hit some tough shots and got some big stops. So we really executed, and like Patrick said, that's a huge emphasis from the coaches, and it felt good to get it close when I think that was the win that kind of propelled the season, in a sense, and gave everybody confidence that we could do this.
And it wasn't the first time. You guys talked about how you won those close games. This year it's been back and forth, but last year, that Michigan State game, I know Big Ten came in and did a whole mini documentary on it with the whole 28 hours, but I feel like I have to ask what all went into that for each of you. I mean, Payton, you hit that big three towards the end of the game, but what was it like those 28 hours in Carver? Your guys' big win one day, and then the next day, Caitlin hits a buzzer beater against Indiana. I mean, what was it like for you two?
Pretty insane. If you think about it, we were down, like 7 with 50 seconds left, and we were able to.
10.
Was it 10 with 50 seconds left, and we tied it? It was nuts, dude. Like, that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And realistically, like, the thing that I always come back to is, like, they had 1 turnover and they missed 1 free throw.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like they really didn't screw up that bad. We were literally trading 3 for 2.
Yeah. And
we kept doing it. So we were able to, make a comeback, and it was a game I'll definitely never forget. One of the most bizarre finishes ever, but it was awesome.
I would say, like, there's obviously, like, my shot's probably the one that gets remembered, but there were so many shots and, like, little plays we made. We're down 14 with like a minute 12, and we get an offensive rebound and get fouled. So now the game barely stays alive. You don't get that, you foul, you're down 16, it's over.
Yeah.
I think we had like 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, and every 3 it felt like went in that went into that, and then they had 1 travel and 1 missed free throw, and that was just enough to get us over the edge. And then like, you go into overtime there, it's pretty much already game over.
Yeah, no. And Carver, it hits overtime. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good
Exactly.
freaking luck. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up for you guys. This is being recorded before Sunday, before the big game against Illinois. The episode will drop on Tuesday, so after the game. But you guys have the Big Ten tournament coming up here pretty soon. You guys are in conversation, being on the bubble in the NCAA. I know the generic answer is you tune all that out and focus game by game, but what are the conversations in the locker room and with Fran about those situations?
Just focus on Illinois and keep stacking wins.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. I know a lot of people are like, you cheer for like certain teams that are on the bubble, you want them to lose, and like all that kind of stuff, so we could potentially move up. But at the end of the day, if we don't win, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of the main message. Like, yeah, we can watch the bubble games and stuff; those are entertaining. Like, for teams that are also in a similar position that we are. But we know that if we don't win on Sunday, we're probably not completely dead, but we would need to. We got our work cut out for us. So we're really locked in for Sunday, and we got to keep it rolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not see some of that stuff, but I mean, as much as you can, like he said, if you lose, it doesn't even matter anyways. So, especially by the time tomorrow rolls around, which is when we usually start preparing for games, I think everybody will be locked in, and it's an exciting opportunity against a rival, a top 15 team coming in here, and sold out crowds. We're really excited for the opportunity. I think we'll be ready, and we'll play with about as much fight as probably ever seen an Iowa team play with, so it'll be fun.
Should be an electric game.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch. I mean, I'm sure you guys can't wait for it either. Sold out crowd, Carver. Boy, nothing better than that, right?
Yeah.
Nothing better than that. But we've talked a lot about basketball, and that's not what this entire interview is all about. So let's take a step back from basketball. You two obviously do a lot outside. You're student athletes. That's the big thing, right? You're students first and then athletes. That's why it's called student athletes.
Absolutely.
What are you each studying? What's the workload like right now? We got midterms coming up. What's the workload like for you guys?
Yeah, so I'm a graduate. Graduate
Attaboy.
University of Iowa.
Attaboy.
Class of 2023.
Congrats.
Thank you. But I was a sport and recreation management guy. I've always like anything to do with sports. I've always been a big fan of. I love basketball, obviously, but all sports I'm a huge fan. And administrative work is something that I could potentially do and be interested in. So that was kind of the avenue that I took. But it was great. You got a bunch of stuff to do throughout the week. And I think the biggest thing that I always would say whenever we get this question is like, there's enough time for you to do it. It's just more so of a matter of like how you feel. Like we just got out of a 3-hour practice. Don't really want to type this paper.
Yeah, not really.
Obviously the time isn't, like the time commitment is different, right? But like we're used to that. We've had practice for multiple hours a day for now throughout our whole high school career and now most of college. So you kind of are used to having that block of the day where you're busy.
Yeah.
But I think the most of it is just like you're so tired and you're just kind of like, oh, don't really feel like doing this right now. I always make fun of him because we were roommates on the road a lot, and all he does is homework, and it makes me really mad, and I throw things at him, and I try to distract him.
Try to have some fun, Payton.
Yeah,
Come on
exactly. But yeah, so it's definitely very unique. But you know, like I said, I was able to graduate, and it was great. I'm sure he'll be able to give you a better answer, Mr. Dean's List over here.
Oh, big smart guy over
here. Yeah, exactly, nerd.
So I'm a junior studying finance, so my workload, it's not that bad this semester. A lot of online classes just because, you know, we're traveling so much. And,
Yeah.
I honestly hate the online stuff so much. Like I learn way better in person.
You had to go through it all with COVID already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks. You got to keep doing it.
But I think it's just way easier being there. But obviously we're not here very much, so
Yeah.
it's hard to go anyways. So.
Is your first semester more in person since?
Yeah, the fall's always, because we only have really 2 or 3 road trips, and one of them's over Thanksgiving. So the fall's not bad, and then the spring, you know, you're leaving every 2 days to go to a new Big Ten city, and you know, I enjoy the school part of it. I think, you know, like he said, it can be a lot sometimes. You know, you just sometimes I'll sit down and type a paper, and my mind just kind of drifts to, you know, what I could have done better, or wanting to watch film, or wanting to watch other games, stuff like that. So it can be really hard to focus, and I've tried my best. I'm starting to falter a little bit in the studying department, but
it's that time of year, man.
I've got a couple big midterms this week that, you know, I'm trying to study for, but my mind's so wrapped around getting ready for Illinois that I think it's hard, and that'll probably be reflected in the grade, but I'm not all that worried about it at this point.
I'm sure your professors understand a little bit.
I hope so. Some do, some don't. I would say for the most part they're pretty accommodating, but there's a couple that seem like they're kind of out to get you just because of being an athlete.
Yeah. What classes do you have midterms for coming up?
I've got corporate finance and physics. I just joined a physics class.
Physics class? What for? Just because?
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake, he says.
I love the physics stuff, so like I thought it'd be fun, but it's just I don't have time for it.
It's going to be a lot. All the labs and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah.
See, as a journalism major, I'm very glad that I don't have to do those sorts of classes, so I don't know why you'd pick those up.
Yeah, I don't know. Mistake.
Well, it sounds like the workload you guys have been able, obviously it's going to be tough, but you guys have been able to battle it pretty well up to this point. Obviously, Patrick, your story's a little bit different right now. But when you do step away from the homework, the classes, and the basketball part of things, what do you two enjoy to do outside of all that?
Play Spider-Man, the video game.
Heck yeah.
It's so fun. Me and Evan Bronze, we play it all the time.
Hours and hours.
It's like so many hours.
Life of a grad student.
Exactly. Just so much Spider-Man. And it's awesome. But we all get together and we'll watch movies, stuff like that. Watch a lot of basketball too.
Yeah.
Other games around the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of our free time you spend resting. Like, you know, you're sleeping, you're trying to catch up on sleep because you might have gotten home from Maryland at 4 a.m. the night before. You're trying to catch up on some sleep, and you know, but a lot of the free time is spent, you know, just kind of watching more basketball, communicating with one another, and we try to do a lot of things, like, you know, as a team as well, just good for morale and all that kind of stuff too.
There you go.
Yeah, I love to golf. Obviously, it's hard in the winters in Iowa, but that's probably my favorite hobby. I like watching golf and playing golf video games, everything. But I also love movies, and you know, we watch a ton of movies just as a team, and we'll do it on road trips the night before a game.
Nice.
We just did that last game, so that was pretty fun.
Crazy movies.
Am I allowed to ask what movies they were?
Watch Midsummer.
Midsummer? I don't think I've heard of that one.
Don't watch.
Not a good review out of Payton?
Terrible.
Insane.
Insane, but not good.
What else did we watch?
I don't know. No, insane.
Okay.
Stay away.
We watched Deja Vu. That's a really good movie.
That's a crazy one.
Not a lot of
What's
people
that
know
one
about
about? I was gonna say I don't know.
It's like 2005 New Orleans, right after the hurricane. It's like a like a story, like a tribute to them, but it has nothing to do with the hurricane.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But it's pretty crazy.
Go
It's like a
in-
time travel.
Yeah, time travel thing.
Okay,
weird.
I'm put it on the list. That's one thing that with these interviews I get a lot out of is movie recommendations of
Yeah.
all things. I get a lot of movie
Yeah,
recommendations.
you should
so
watch it. It's
okay.
one of my favorites.
Deja vu, I'll put it on the
yeah.
list.
And
What's your best golf score?
I've shot a 69 a few times.
There you
It's a
go.
great score.
All right, Patrick. All right.
Yeah,
No, it's a really good
It
score.
is a really good
It's
score.
score.
I don't think I've ever touched 120 before.
Yeah, no, it's a very good score.
I was
Yeah.
playing with Connor like last fall, just like on a Sunday afternoon, and he shot about a 98 or something in there, and I shot 69, so we celebrated. It was pretty fun.
Dang. So out on Finkbine?
Yeah,
Dang.
I was excited. It's not normal,
That's big time.
but I got buddies around here that I'll go play with in the summers, and my brother likes to play, roommate likes to play, so
There you go.
it's a good time.
Sounds like a good time. Heck
What else
yeah.
do we do? Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's
We
about
watch a lot of basketball.
Watch a lot of like
Shocker.
a disgusting amount of basketball.
it. That doesn't surprise me even in the slightest.
Like I sit down after I'll go sit on my couch after practice and I'll just watch like
Mhm.
every game, like all the games, like from till like I'll get off my couch at like 11 p.m.
Yeah. Is it mostly Are you mostly watching Big Ten games? I assume you watch mostly Big Ten games, but you look outside the conference as well?
Yeah. No, definitely a lot of Big Ten games, but we watch other games as well. But
Yeah.
I'll try to watch every single Big Ten game
Mm-hmm.
throughout the year, and I know Payton does the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I like to watch like some of our guys that play in the NBA, Chris and Keegan a lot,
Yeah.
whenever they're on. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
any form.
That's got to be super fun, being able to see those guys
For sure.
play at that level.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys stay in contact as much as you can with them. Have they been able to reach out to you guys, and
Mhm.
what are those conversations like with your former teammates who are playing in the big leagues now?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Luka Garza probably the most out of all of those guys. I talked to him a very decent amount.
Mhm.
And I talked to Keegan and Chris. I actually was just texting with Chris today about something. So no, definitely stay in contact with them a lot. Always checking in, trying to just chop it up whenever. And it's always good when we see them too. They'll come
Mhm.
back in the summers and stuff. So excited for that.
There you go.
Yeah, whenever I probably talk to Chris the most, and we just talk about whatever's going on in the PGA Tour. That's pretty much about
Continue the
it.
golf talk.
Yeah, like we'll play golf video games together. That's about it. We
Is
don't
he
talk
any
much
good?
basketball.
Not much basketball.
He's okay. He's okay.
He's all right at
Yeah.
golf.
That's all I'll give him.
Your 69 score beats him.
Yeah, yeah,
I have a feeling
Got
it
him
beats
there.
a lot of people.
yeah,
It does.
yeah.
That's super fun. Is there like your favorite story from those guys coming back into Iowa City? You say they come back in the summer, chop it up. Is there like a favorite story of when those guys come back? Do you hit
I think
the
just
course at all?
the quality time you get to spend with them, because you don't spend as much time with them anymore. Obviously, they've moved
Yeah.
on to another stage of life, so you don't see them as much, and so you just I would say that the best times we have are when we just reminisce about all the times that we had together and all that kind of stuff, like just sitting in a living room somewhere and just BSing about all of the stuff we used to do and how funny it was and like the crazy stuff that happened.
Oh yeah.
So that stuff is always hilarious, and just like having time to really sit down and catch up on each other's lives and all that kind of stuff is really cool too.
Yeah, it was like 2 days before I turned 21, but we went down to Vegas, me, Patrick, and Tony,
Yeah.
and we
Oh,
for the
boy.
summer league. So we got to hang
Yeah.
out with Luke and some of them. I had a great time with them, but
There you go.
yeah, just whenever we can, just getting to just talk to the guys. I think that's the coolest thing.
I bet Vegas with those guys was a good time. They
You
show
saw
you
a lot
around the place
a lot
little
of big
bit.
names down there.
A lot of big
Yeah.
names. Shake a lot of celebrity hands.
We saw them. I didn't
You
shake
saw
any
'em.
hands.
No introducing, no dap ups.
I was in a section next to Michael Rubin and Joel Embiid. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That sounds like a blast.
No, it was fun.
Got any more of those trips planned?
Those will come. We'll probably go back out to Summer League, maybe. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
depends. Who
Yeah.
knows?
See if you get the invite.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Heck yeah. Well, another thing that I want to bring up is you guys have a podcast of your own, two-piece
do.
on a pod.
Yep.
It's been a little bit since the last episode. I was looking today, I was like, 5-6 months? Is that what it was?
Yeah, roughly.
What was it like having the podcast, and are we going to expect a new episode?
No, we'll bring it back.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be back in the spring. Once the season started, we kind of
Yeah,
we just kind of
I
forgot
think
It's
it's
about
tough.
Yeah.
It's
it.
tough.
No time for school, so there's definitely no time for anything else.
No time to
But,
record a podcast.
yeah.
But it'll be back.
Okay,
back
good.
and better than ever.
Good. Well, I know.
with all sorts of stories and guests from the year.
Yes.
It helps getting Caitlin on. That was a lot of views.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's a
Good
cheat
for
code.
business.
It's a cheat code.
You put her face on a thumbnail, it'll get a lot of views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps.
What was it like having her on the show and having your other guests as well on your own podcast? What was that like?
I think the coolest thing about having the podcast is like it's not really like a traditional interview, right? Because most of the people are our friends. Like Caitlin Clark, like I consider her a good friend.
Yeah.
Like we're very good friends, and Payton can say the same thing. So it's not like a typical kind of media situation, right? Like we're just kind of BSing and we record it, and we talk about real legitimate stuff, and it's just kind of a different conversation, and it's a very interesting dialogue, I think. So that's probably my favorite part about it, is it's just kind of like a different sense of media, and it's just kind of a different comfortability level you get, I think, with the guests, just in terms of like because you already have such a strong relationship with them. So I think it's really cool, and I'm a very curious person by nature.
Yeah.
So, being able to learn about other people and, where are you from, what makes you act the way that you act is something that I think I've always really enjoyed, and I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. I think it's really fun, and I think people that watch get to see a completely different side of kind of who we are. And, I think we talk a little bit about ball, but a lot of it's like telling old stories about, random stuff when you're 8 years old or in high school. And I think I have a ton of fun doing it, and, getting to know people's backgrounds and kind of their funny stories from playing, I don't know, baseball or soccer when they were a kid. It's pretty cool.
What is the best story that you got out of one of those interviews, whether it was from Caitlin or whether it was from, I know Price got on the show as well. Was there a story that one of your guests told you that really stuck out in your mind?
Mine probably was when I was doing it with Connor, and we had Tyler Cook on, and Tyler Cook had a 10-day with the Brooklyn Nets when they had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. And
heck of a time to be alive.
Oh, I know, right? So the best story I think was he goes down to breakfast, and like he's on a 10-day, so like you can't be late for anything, like so he's very like on point with all that kind of stuff. So he goes to breakfast like 10-15 minutes early, and Kyrie Irving is just sitting there in the dark eating breakfast and just goes, "Good morning, brother."
Oh my gosh.
They're just sitting there in the dark, like eating. "Good morning, brother," and he's like, "What's up, dog?" Like, whatever.
So Kyrie.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably my favorite story so far that I've heard from the pod. Just that one was hilarious.
That's like a surreal moment. There's Kyrie Irving in the dark.
Yeah.
I'd almost be like freaked out that
exactly.
happened.
Exactly. Just in the dark, eating breakfast. That was my favorite.
What about yours,
My
Payton?
favorite probably came from Price's episode, because we grew up. We had like a nice cul-de-sac, and we had a bunch of neighbors who love sports, so we'd play all different, sorts of sports. So we're probably 6 or 7 years old, and he's talking about how we had the Miracle movie, the hockey movie, in our car. So we'd watch it like 100 times, like a week, every time we were in the car. So we get out. We get home one day, and Price is like, I think I want to be an NHL goalie. So he goes and puts on like a catcher's mask and like a coat. And we had this like little soccer net, and we set it up. So we had hockey sticks and like a tennis ball, and he put on like a first base mitt, and we just start slapping slap shots at him, all our neighbors, and he's trying to stop him.
How did that go?
It was a good time. I didn't remember it. I don't think he did great. And then we started like a hockey league in our neighborhood, and
heck yeah,
it was pretty sweet.
That's just
it was
awesome.
a good time.
That's awesome.
Running around.
I can't imagine Price that tall and lengthy trying to stand in front of a net. I mean, that's simply not the goalie frame size, if I'm thinking correctly.
No, it was a good time. I mean, he wasn't as big then. He was just a little kid.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Oh man, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, Iowa's very much known for their family ties, and you both have your own family ties here on the basketball team. Patrick, we can start with you. I know you get tons of questions about it. It's a topic of conversation, I feel like, whenever you're in the room. But you played with Connor. Your dad's the head coach. Let's start with Connor. What was it like being able to play with your brother at Iowa?
Well, it was an unforgettable experience. Connor and I are extremely tight. We constantly are talking. Now that he's gone, we constantly are texting about just everything that goes on. We're extremely tight. We always have been since we were little. So, you know, obviously getting the opportunity to play with him is something that I'm forever grateful for. We'd fight a lot. We'd argue.
Classic brother.
Exactly. You know, just like Payton and Price do. Like we bicker back and forth just like brothers do. But there's nobody I would have rather spent the first 4 years of my career with who was able to help me and teach me a lot of things. And I'm really grateful. And then, you know, being able to play for my dad, it's a unbelievable experience. You know, I've been able to be a part of some really amazing moments, like his 500th win, you know, him becoming the all-time wins leader at Iowa. Like, I've been able to be a part of all of that. And that's something that, like, is realistically undescribable. Like those moments, those milestones in his career that I've been on the team for, been a part of, is something that, you know, I'm eternally grateful for and will forever remember, regardless of all of the BS that came with it, you know, playing for your dad, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, just the opportunity and the memories and relationships and moments that we've had together are second to none.
And I know earlier this week in a press conference you were asked about possibly coaching later on in your career after you're done playing and things like that, and you said that you had to go and talk to your mom about it first. Have you had that conversation with her yet?
No, we're going to avoid that one as long as we can.
Seems like a scary combo.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to avoid that one as long as we can, and we'll come back to that at a later date, way later.
As far out as possible. Just keep kicking that can down the road, right?
Yep, exactly.
Did Connor have to have that conversation with her?
Yes, they had a lot of conversations about it, and she did not want him to coach, but he coached, and she was frustrated. But I think, you know, it's what he wanted to do. It's what he loves to do. So she supports him.
That sounds like a fun conversation at some point to have.
Absolutely.
Now, Payton, your brother, obviously a freshman on the team, Price. He's gotten some good minutes this year, but what was that like last year, even 2 years ago when he first started getting recruited? Was Iowa always top on his list, or was he getting a lot of other offers, and how much were you in his ear about coming here to Iowa?
Yeah, you know, he had a few different offers and, you know, a ton of really good options, but honestly, I think, you know, his heart was really set on, you know, coming to Iowa. He knew how much fun I was having and, you know, how the style really fit his game, and he acted like, you know, I'm going to try other things, but I think, you know, he was always set on coming to Iowa, and I've loved every second of it.
How do you say no to the Hawks?
Yeah, and you know, his commitment story was pretty funny because he committed. He came on a visit in like the summer, and we had a great time, did a bunch of different things, and then he called coach and like committed like the next morning, and I'm like calling my parents like, you know, 3 days later. I'm like, you know, because I never really tried to push him to Iowa. Like I want him to make his own decision, and I called my parents like, did he like it? Like, what's he doing? They're like, well, you know, he's been at a friend's house, and I'm like, what? Like, you never let him sleep over anywhere. Like, he's definitely doing something. Like, what's going on? And they wouldn't tell me. I'm like, well, he must have hated it. And then, you know, they cracked because I was getting so upset with them. And they kind of told me. But he really wanted to tell me in person because we were done with summer workouts coming up and wanted to have a big party for it. But, you know, it was a pretty cool moment. And then I cracked Coach about it because he was trying to keep it quiet, too. And we're in a workout, and I'm like, did he commit and nobody was going to say anything to me? He's like, wait, what?
What are you talking
Trying
about?
to play it off. Yeah, but it's been fun. You know, he's loving it. He's starting to play a lot more and play a lot better. He's getting used to the speed, and you know, the freshman year can be tough, but I'm proud of the way he's handled it, and it's been a really fun experience for both of us.
When he first scored his first double-digit points in a game, his 10 points, how was that? What was that like for the bench and things like that to see him get his first game where he got double-digit points?
Well, it was a big deal because your color commentator that night made a deal that he would get this pretty funny video that Hayden had in his phone, and he said if Price scored double digits, which he hadn't done all season, that he would do it. So me and Carter, my roommate, one of the players on our team, we were sitting on the bench, and I think he made a free throw to get to 10. So we started looking over at you guys because we're up like 30. And he's just like putting his hand in his hands in his head. And, you know, it was a pretty funny moment. We were just screaming at you guys over there calling the game.
Oh my gosh, I tell that story to everybody. I'm just like, that's one of my favorite moments of this season.
That was pretty funny. That was a good moment.
It was so funny. I kept making fun of Hawkeye as well during the game because when it happened, we could see you guys pointing at us. And I was like, Hawkeye, do you want to be the one to break it on air? But we didn't say anything.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Now the cat's out of the bag. That's what was going on that game.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
No, that was a super fun moment to be there for. And obviously a story that not just you guys remember, but it was a good one for me, Hawkeye too.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
But you guys also do a lot of things in the community as well. You guys are very much involved in the community with things outside. What are some of your favorite things that you do? I know, Payton, you were at Dance Marathon this year for a little bit with the kiddos and things like that. But what are the other ways you get involved in the community?
Yeah. So I was at Dance Marathon last year. I try to go whenever I can. That's such a cool event. What they do is really awesome, and highly recommend anybody to go and watch what they do. It's so cool, and it's such a great environment and experience. But anything for me, cancer is obviously something that's very close to my heart. So anything that has anything to do with cancer, I'm pretty much all for it. So I do a lot of things in the community. My parents are very involved, and so I'll do a lot of stuff with them regarding a lot of the cancer stuff and certain, causes and aspects and all that kind of thing. So that's one that is really important to me.
Is there a particular story that really hit since your time here at Iowa that's really hit home for you, getting involved in the community? Obviously, we'll talk about your story here in a little bit as well, but has there been another story that's really hit home for you getting involved in the community, especially with the cancer research and things like that?
I think any time you talk to somebody who experiences something like that, like something like it's always incredibly eye-opening. It's something that it's like that's something that'll never, you'll never become numb to something like that. Like the things that you hear these people have to go through, whether it's kids, like kind of teenagers, adults, like whatever you hear, like it's like that's something that you'll never just get used to being able to hear, and it's a hard conversation every time, and it should be, because we need to make a change there, and we need to become better with all of those different things, and start and really strive to come up with some sort of cure for a lot of it. So that's something that I will always be super outspoken about, and something that I will always hold super close to my heart and be a big advocate for.
Absolutely. And Payton, you were at the Dance Marathon event this year. Thank you for coming out, by the way. That was a good time for you and Bryce to come out.
Were you Dance Marathon too?
I am
awesome.
in Dance Marathon. Yeah, it's been a life-changing experiment.
Oh,
and
sure.
I know, and Austin's dad came out and talked with us, so that was a great story here. And again, I'll ask you some questions about that here in a little bit as well. But Payton, what are some of the other things that you're able to do in the community and get involved with and things like that?
Yeah, I work directly with a foundation called Count the Kicks, which is trying to prevent, stillbirths, and I think it's been really cool. Every 3 I hit, people can pledge like a certain amount of money, and then I do the same. So it's been it's been a really cool experience getting to work with them. A bunch of the Dance Marathon was awesome, and that story was pretty funny this year. So we played Ohio State the night before, and I'd signed up to be there at 9:30 at Dance Marathon, and
at night.
No, it was in the morning.
Okay.
I was very surprised when you were there.
It was the next morning, and so I'm getting ready to go, and they kind of my girlfriend runs track here, and her race got moved up to I think it was 9:45. So I was on a panel. So I called everybody. I'm texting everybody. Everybody's still asleep from the game. So I called Price. He didn't answer. I had my mom do the Find My iPhone thing, so he had to hear it. And he wakes up, and I'm like, I don't know how you get there, but you have to get to Dance Marathon right now and fill in for me. Just say you're me, do whatever, and I'll be there.
Say you're me.
I'll be there in a second. So he tries to call Ubers, and nothing's available. So he's waiting for the bus. It doesn't come, so he has to sprint to the IMU at 9:15, and he gets there, and I had to apologize and buy him lunch, but eventually I got there, and it was super cool just being with all the kids and getting to talk to the families, and it was a very cool experience, and I think it's really cool that you do it too.
Thank you.
You got to run. You got to run through the Hillcrest parking lot, down the hill, up the.
Oh, I've had to make that run before.
Oh yeah.
I lived in Peterson last year too. I've had to make that run before.
Oh yeah. Yep.
No, but seriously, Dance Marathon seriously appreciates all that you guys do for it, and having the athletes come up. Obviously, you guys go up there for the big event as well. I mean, it's been truly awesome to see those stories and hear the stories and getting involved and things like that. And Patrick, you obviously have a direct connection with one of the families of Dance Marathon. Now that I know Big Ten already came in and did a whole little spotlight on you in that story. I watched it before. It made me cry. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But when you step back now here as a senior and you look back on that story and those moments, what do you think about how you got here when you look at that story in particular?
Yeah, obviously very unique circumstances for anybody. Something that like I really had a hard time talking about for most of my life. I've finally kind of within the last year or two, I've been able to open up about it a little bit more, and I think that's been good for me. But a very, interesting, tough experience that, it changed my life forever. Changed the way I view a lot of different things, and had a very strong impact on me. So I think, it made me really who I am. And when you step back and you look and you're like, the fact that I was able to come here, score 1,000 points, all that kind of stuff is something that, I can be proud of. And, I had a good career and something that I'll, that I'm proud of based off, what I went through. And I hope I made Austin proud. That was always my goal. And I know that I was going to make him proud regardless, but I know he watches every game, and I'm super tied in with his family. I talk to them on a regular basis, and I know they're proud of me, and that's all I can really ask for.
When you throw on the number 22, because I know that was his number as well, what does that mean to you to be able to wear that number? I know you had to have some conversation to get that number, but what does it mean to you to be able to wear 22 for Austin?
It means everything. That number is incredibly important to me, to the point where if I was wearing another jersey and I looked down and I saw my number, I would be very uncomfortable if it wasn't the number 22.
Yeah.
But just knowing all of the story behind the number and everything that goes into it is something that I'm, will never ever take for granted, and something that I'm honored to be able to, rock number 22 every day. And it's something that I'm forever grateful for, that I was allowed to do that. And Mr. Sieber granted me the opportunity to wear it when he didn't have to. And, it's just an unbelievable memory and experience, and that number means more to me than anybody could ever imagine.
And the Schrader family, I know, has been very close to your family as well, but Payton, have you been able to get and talk with them a little bit as well? I know with your involvement in Dance Marathon a little bit as well, but I'm sure I know Patrick has probably told you guys the stories numerous times, but have you been able to talk with the Schrader family as well and get to know them a little bit?
I haven't really a ton. I've gotten to meet a bunch of people around, the cancer community, and I met Brad Schaefer, whose son is the Tater Tough Tate Schaefer kid, and he's such an awesome man, and they have a great story as well. So I think that's been one of the coolest parts of this, is getting to meet all the families and try and help them through a tough time, whether that's talking to them at games, or we have the AYA come in during practice, and I think that's always one of the most rewarding things. It kind of puts it all in perspective. If you're having a bad practice or something, it always kind of cheers you up and gives you like a whole new boost, knowing what they're going through, and that we get to hang out with them and meet all these people. I think that's been a really special thing about being here at Iowa.
Yeah, and I know that being athletes, it puts yourselves on a whole nother platform and things like that, but it's really awesome that you guys and a lot of the other teams here at Iowa are able to get involved with those things as well. So
absolutely,
yeah, it's been incredibly fun to watch how you guys interact in the community and things like that.
Absolutely.
But you guys got a big game coming up this weekend, but I gotta ask, the women's team does have some big games coming up this weekend as well. And these two teams seem to have such a good connection. You talked how you consider Caitlin one of your good friends. What is that connection like with the women's team? What's it like when you're going to their games, they're coming to your games? What's that camaraderie like with the two teams?
Yeah, we interact a lot. We see each other just throughout Carver on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But we also interact a lot out of Carver. I know Peyton's tight with Sita Folter because they came in together. And I'm tight with Caitlin. I've been tight with Caitlin since we were in high school, just kind of the way things went about. And you've gotten to know, like there's several girls on the team that I consider very good friends, and I talk to on a daily basis.
Heck yeah.
For the most part. So whenever we're able to go support them, and whenever they're able to come out and support us, they always take advantage of that, and so do we. So it's something that is really cool. I don't think it's like that at every place. But I'm really glad it's like that here, and I'm glad we're so tied in with them.
Yeah, I think Patrick said it. Like, it's really fun to watch their success, and we're very tight. We see each other all the time at practices and go to each other's games, and it's been cool to see, you know, how they've really changed the perception around women's basketball. I mean, when I got here, we'd go to the games and we'd walk in, find whatever seat we wanted, and, you know, the curtains would be down, and now it's like, you know, trying to break into like Fort Knox. It's almost impossible trying to get to their games. So, you know, it's been really cool to see, you know, what they can do and how special of a season and, you know, career that some of them have had.
The refs used to be able to hear me when I would yell at them. They can't anymore.
Yeah.
You can't yell at them as much anymore. You can't say whatever you want.
They can't hear me. They used to be able to hear everything I would say.
Yeah.
I would let them have it. Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. Now they can't hear a dang thing. No one can hear a dang thing in that arena.
No.
Oh man, it's been really fun to watch. Is there a favorite story or favorite moment that you've had with that team? Obviously last year with the 28 hours at Carver, we talked about that a little bit already, but is there a favorite moment that you've had with that team that you'll remember for a long time?
Nothing like super specific, to be honest. You know, just like we talk so much and we're together all the time. Like we literally, like, I talk to several of them every single day, so it's just kind of like a long-standing relationship. But, you know, just kind of like just the quality time that we spend together, you know, being able to go out and support each other, and then, you know, just being able to sit there and talk about things that we've experienced and reminisce on all that kind of stuff is something that's really cool. And I'm glad we're able to go through similar experiences, and I'm glad we can do it together.
Yeah, I think, you know, the buzzer beater versus Indiana was pretty sweet, and I was in the top row of the student section because nothing else was open. But you know, a ton of good moments, and watching them play has been a ton of fun.
Yeah, and it's been super fun watching you guys too. It's gonna keep going. You guys got Big Tens coming up. And then if all things go the right way, NCAA tournament will be right around the corner as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys both so much for being on the show today. It's been super fun having you guys on the show. Can't wait to see what is next for you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Meet the Hawkeye. Be sure to check out the Daily Iowa website every week for everything Hawkeye sports. From the University of Iowa, I'm AJ Reisetter. That's Patrick McCaffery and Payton Sandfort. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.